Hello, here we go. It's the Kopite podcast.
What is happening, everyone? Welcome back to the Kopite podcast. I'm joined as usual by Jay, and we've got two little extra specials in there.
Yeah.
It's Mike and Mark. How are you doing, fellas?
Yeah. Okay, mate.
All good. Well, not after watching that. Obviously, Liverpool have just drew. Fulham 1-1. But what were your thoughts? Obviously, going into the game, me and Jay done a pod before with the lineups. It was as strong as it could be, really. But that first, let's just do the first half as a chunk, because the first half was pretty dreadful, weren't it? What did you make of it as a whole, Jay?
Oh, me. Okay.
Anyone jump in?
Mike, let Mike take it.
I thought we deserved to be behind, actually, Mick. You know, I mean, I thought we were awful. That's the worst performance I think I've seen
since Villa.
Good
shout. Since Aston Villa.
Aston Villa first half.
Villa or Watford, isn't it? Really?
Or Watford.
Watford's a good shout. Yeah.
Watford's a good shout, mate. Yeah. And you wonder why. I have to wonder why, and I'll ask the two lads next to me why. What's the mentality? Why we started so slow? Why we are Liverpool at the end of the day, and why are we starting so slow? Why are we not at it? If you know what I mean, we know the game. We know what's at stake. We know what the ultimatum is at the the Premiership at the end of the day. Why aren't we at it? First half, when they scored, that woke us up. So I think the commentator said that might wake Liverpool up. I think it did. I thought we ended the first half strong on the front foot, and I think second half we did perform better. I don't think we created real clear-cut chances to win the game in opposition to what Endo said. But for me, it wasn't a good performance today, and I think we've got to take it that is there something after the Champions League. I mean, we've seen Chelsea lose this weekend. We've seen Man City and Man United play a real boring game that no one really seemed to want to win. We've seen Tottenham drop points today. All the teams in Europe seem to have suffered some sort of hangover from Europe. And that happens, and don't get me wrong, going back in Liverpool's history, I can remember midweek games in Europe, and we lost against Norwich at home, things that didn't happen. But that's something that we have to address, I think.
Yeah, it's a good point.
Yeah. Well, it feeds into what Alex has just said there. A lot of credit needs to be given to Fulham. The energy from start was brilliant, and when they let up, we were too sluggish. And that's it. That if I could stats, I couldn't have put it better myself than that. Really, that first half, obviously, like you said, their goal was a great goal. You can't deny that. Before that, I think Alisson makes like 3 saves, doesn't he? Like to keep us in it. So it could have been like that first half. We could have been dead and buried. To the fact that if you try and look at it as a whole, a point. I know I'm really pissed off by it all, but if you look at it as a whole, they were really good, and they could have been out of sight, couldn't they? After the first half, really.
But the game could have been gone first half, Mick, to be honest, and Alisson kept us in it, and for as good as he was, he's kept us in the game. He's kept it to 1-0, and we've managed to get a point out of the game. So if we go 2 down, I don't think we come back from that, to be honest. And we lose the game. That's the difference.
But I think there's an incentive for teams when they play against us after the Champions League, that they know something's in there for them to get something, especially in the first half. I mean, we've seen that today. There's always something there for them to get at, and they've done. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, we have started really bad today, and I think overall it was a really bad performance. But at the end of the day, we haven't lost again. You know, there's still that incentive there. We beat Tottenham on Wednesday night. It's, we're 3 points clear at the top of the league. We haven't got our full strength squad. Top of the league, 3 points clear if we beat Tottenham. And it's not all doom and gloom in that sense, but it's very frustrating because of what's gone on today and yesterday with the points drop from other teams that are trying to chase us. But
yeah, we should Mick. At the end of the day, we should be beating Fulham at home, shouldn't we? We should,
yeah, it's not often that we get outfought in terms of work rate, and that was the case in the first half. And I think obviously
the game of 2 halves for me, that Mick. I mean, we finished the first half strongly. We knew we were going to come out and we was going to get a bollocking at half time. We knew that was going to come out from Klopp, but we knew we was going to come out a bit stronger second half. Maybe the first half has done us in, and going one behind against Fulham after the Champions League, it's always going to be that case. We've always said that after a Champions League game in the midweek, but it's just more frustrating because of what's going on with the other results. That's what pisses us all off, really.
Yeah. We had a clear picture, didn't we? Obviously after Spurs drawing, all the lads will know that game's finished. We've got a chance to go top here, and the way that we started just wasn't acceptable. But another thing that's annoying me is obviously the VAR. It doesn't surprise me anymore. But another 3 minutes is wasted, waiting around trying to figure out what this VAR is. And I think Souness said it was a pen. Ever saying it wasn't a pen, which is the opposite what you'd expect. What did you think, Jay? Did you think that was a pen, that Fab tackle?
No, I don't think it was a penalty.
I think it was.
At first, when I first saw him go down, I thought, oh, fucking hell, they're going to pull this back now and they're going to have a look at it. But when you saw Fab's heel take the ball away from the angle that was behind...
From the side-on one that looks down exactly. The goal line.
That was the one. That was clear-cut. I was like, right, that's definitely not a penalty. And like the commentator said, very pleased to see that the ref had stuck to his guns and said that's not a penalty. Even when VAR said, hang on, we're having a look at it, and then they bottled it and said, you need to go and have a look at it. Because when they said, you need to go and have a look at it, I thought,
as soon as they say you need to go and have a look at it,
you give up.
It's very rare that gets turned over.
Exactly, yeah.
And that's one of the few times that hasn't been turned over.
True.
It's nice to see.
It was really nice to see. So yeah,
said that,
for me, Mick, no, it wasn't a penalty, and I'm glad that common sense prevailed itself. Yeah, as we say.
That's but it's one of them. Like Alex has said there, he's saying it's 100% a pen, and I can see the for and against really because it was one of them, weren't it?
Yeah, there is a for and against, isn't there? Because
of course there is.
When you look at the penalty, you think we said, didn't we? Until we saw that angle behind from our side, we're like, well, he might give it, and we were saying, oh, he's fucking give it.
Yeah. You look at one angle, and you might actually give that penalty, but you need to look at the other angle, and you realise
it's not.
It isn't.
Yeah, I agree.
In terms of me and Jay touched on it in the preview pod with Russ from a big Fulham fan. I was talking about our away Premier League form, and I didn't realise how patchy it is, and then obviously today that feeds into it again. Are you concerned about that? I'll come to you, Mark, on that one.
In some ways, yeah, I am a little bit concerned, yeah, but unless that's because of the standard that we've raised, I don't know whether that's a bit more pressure on ourselves. I don't know. I mean, is it normal to be like that, or is it because we've had so much pressure and because we've won the league and we've not lost many games? It could just be down to pressure. I mean, you know that a lot of teams have come under a lot of pressure from winning leagues, and then you go in the Champions. It's just pressure. It's pressure at the end of the day, but with injuries take its toll, mate. It's just a lot of injuries.
What I would say is, Mick, that I think it's a little bit wrong to actually compare us to what we did last season, if you know what I mean. I think we've got a depleted squad. We've got real serious injuries in real key areas. And I think we've all said it today before the game. We're really pleased in some ways that we're as far up the league as we are with the injuries that we've had. And I think it's wrong to say we were so many points behind what we were last season. Yeah. Last season was phenomenal. I mean, what was it? We were past Christmas and we could have still achieved 114 points. We'd only dropped 1 point after Christmas last season. You can't replicate that this season.
No.
This season is it's a little bit bizarre. It's
for everyone as well, not just for us.
It's all of us.
Yeah. It's going to be one of them seasons.
It's one of them seasons, and I'm not convinced that we can retain the league this season. I'm not convinced at the moment. For me, there's a few teams that could actually win the league this year.
Yeah, I think, and we've been spoiled with the players we've got, and the fact that they're quite durable in terms of not getting injuries. And the fact is that if this is more of a condensed season, we're seeing those injuries, and it was like Dan just said, if it was down to injuries, we'd be dropping points at Anfield as well. Something has been wrong with our away form this calendar year, which I agree with. But let's go into the second half, and that feeds in perfectly. Like, Matip comes off at half time, Hendo goes centre half alongside Fabinho, and that tells you everything. Two centre midfielders at centre half. So
that baffles me, to be honest, because you've got Nat Phillips, you've got Reece Williams at centre back. I mean, every time them two guys have come in, they've done a great job, but there's not a lot of trust in them two for some reason. Because if there was,
Klopp,
he'd bring them two in. Yeah, it's just.
We didn't really understand that.
I didn't understand that one.
I can't quite realise why Phillips might not have come in today and leave Endo in midfield. We knew Fulham were going to go off the pace, really. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
They were intense in the first half, but they couldn't keep that going. We knew. I felt we knew as supporters. We felt that. We said that at half time. I don't think they can keep that intensity going, and they didn't.
No.
And for me, missing Hendo in midfield with his first touch and his vision and everything, for me, him in going into centre half position, not bringing Phillips on maybe or whoever, Williams, as you said. I think we just missed a trick there, to be honest, Mick. To be honest,
just like that little bit of creativity in midfield second half.
What did you think about that substitution, Mick?
I thought it was a 50-50. I thought you could bring Phillips on and keep Hendo where he is, and you've got that driving force, or like you said, put Hendo where he was. And I think you could see Klopp. You saw a little picture of Klopp, which as Hendo came on doing like this, like Jordan, just keep us ticking over. And I can see why the decision was made, because we've got that passing ability at centre half in both defenders to keep the ball recycling that better than maybe it would if Phillips was there. So I can see that point of view. But like you said, when you look back now, when you take Hendo out of any midfield, he is the driving force. It does have a bit of a domino effect in terms of our progressive passing in the final third, doesn't it?
I agree.
Good point, that, to be fair.
Because I don't think the Minamino effect is working at the moment, Mick. To be honest,
no.
I think that's an area that he's still got to do it for me. And taking Hendo out and bringing the Minamino in didn't quite gel for me. I just thought there was another option there, and I think personally, and I'm not Klopp, I don't pretend to be Klopp, but I would have made that another decision. I'd have kept Hendo in midfield and brought Phillips on. I'm not brought Minamino on.
Yeah. Well, Alex is saying here, I think Taki made a massive difference. Didn't look like he did much, but without the ball, his movement was brilliant. Was getting the ball too late. Was opening up spaces, bringing Origi on late. Kilders lost it most of the time. I thought, you know what? I thought Taki done all right when he came on. I mean, he's one of them players that the last game he flattered to deceive a lot, but in this one, I thought he was a lot better in terms of just like keeping us ticking over, and the tackles he was putting in weren't just for show. Like in the last game, he was actually getting his winning possession back for us, wasn't he, Jay?
Well, I mean, that's my problem with Minamino, Mick. I mean, he's not, like you just said, like you just reiterate your point there. He kept just ticking over. He's not a game changer for me. Whereas that sort of game, it needed a game changer for me. But who that was going to be, I don't know whether that was going to be. I mean, we know the Ox is on there.
I don't think we had the game changer.
I don't think
bench, to be honest.
That was going to be my next point. I don't think we had a game changer on the bench. That was the struggle today.
Yeah, and it feeds into what we've just been.
Coming on might have been game changer.
No,
you know what I mean?
There was no game changer for me today with substitutions. But
it's true. I think after 11 minutes, the first 11 minutes, I was watching that game and I was going, am I going to be saying the same thing on 81 minutes going, it's one of those games where you just feel after the first 10 minutes you thought, we might not get the result we want here, because Fulham were all over us in the first 10 minutes, and that was really, really frustrating. Yeah. And that's the thought I got at the beginning of that game after 11 minutes, like, this could be one of those games here. And it really, really pissed me off for the rest of the time.
And it was.
And it feeds into what we've just been saying about injuries as well, like not having Jota as an option to bring off the bench. That is huge because you're bringing on, like you said, Taki and Origi, like they're both good, but bringing what's the comparison to bringing on Diego Jota, who could have came on and won us the game there if he was fit and ready. So that's the difference, isn't it?
Let's be honest. We were saying about game changers, but for me, bringing Jota on is a game changer.
Yeah.
At the moment,
that's my point.
Yeah, I just want to touch on
look at this guy.
Need a centre back. Well, we'll have a discussion about that at the end because I don't know if I think Fabinho might have done enough to be a permanent centre half, and we might see a centre midfielder come in. That might be an option. But another centre midfielder that I thought was boss second half was Curtis Jones. Like that run from like our own half was just, if he would have scored at the end of that.
Wow! How good was that? My God! What an effort!
He did all the hard work.
He did everything. Did everything finish.
It was a goal.
Mick, was it a goal for you? Did you think?
Yeah, I thought he's done all the hard work. He just needs to slot it bottom corner, and he's usually good at that in terms of his shooting range is up there, isn't it? So I was a bit disappointed, but he just looked like he ran out of steam a little bit towards the end because he was knackered. But he was boss again today. He was like maybe not first half, but just he's a one who he can do both. He keeps the game ticking over for you, but he can also go right. Fuck this! I'm going to take a few people on and play it over the top or a little incisive ball through, like a little through ball. So that he's great for these type of games. But it just like if that would have went in, there would have been carnage, wouldn't he, Jay?
Mate. I'd have pushed these two over and thrown beer. The laptop would have gone fucking bananas. It was would have been great, but it wasn't meant to be. But one of them. One of them.
Frustrating game
again, but it's one of them. Like when you look at it, and this always happens to us where we play last and everybody around us drops points and we go, right, this is the time for us to go, let's capitalise that. And then we never ever fucking do it. Never do. We might have done it last year because
we did actually do it last season.
But it was an anomaly, wasn't it? Because we just kept winning and winning. But usually when it happens over the years, you think, right, we've got a really good opportunity now, and we didn't, which makes Wednesday even more fucking bigger than it actually was. Because if we had won today, Wednesday would have been big. I mean, Wednesday now is fucking massive.
If we'd have won today and got a point against Tottenham, you wouldn't have minded it. But now we feel like we need to beat Tottenham now.
Oh yeah, we had to beat them regardless.
There's a bit of a difference, isn't there?
It's mad. It's mad.
Yeah, and I think we've seen it in that game where we weren't on the boil from the minute go. But I think against Spurs, you can't do that against them, and I think that's why we'll be 100 miles an hour from minute one in that game, because if any less than that, we're going to be a couple of goals down if we perform anything like that first half.
I turn up on Wednesday, to be honest. I really do.
Yeah, and it's like I said, like especially with the injury front, like we've just been touching on, Trent coming off for Necho Williams on 68 minutes. I don't know if that was just obviously trying to preserve Trent. I think just making sure he doesn't get an injury. Well, I don't think he was very happy about it, was he? He didn't look too pleased.
4 o'clock, give him a pat on the head, didn't you? As though he was saying, "Look, don't worry about it. You'll be in the next game." Type of thing.
The sub would have happened regardless.
I think so. Yeah, I think Carragher pointed on that.
Yeah, Carragher said he reckons the substitution would have happened whether Liverpool are 4-0 up, whatever. It would have happened regardless. So. Yeah. I think it was important that happens because he does need him for Wednesday. I think back at Anfield, 2,000 people in the stadium against Spurs. It's a bigger game, isn't it? So,
yeah, of course it is. Yeah.
I thought Necho Williams done well anyway when he came on. I know he's been getting a lot of grief, hasn't he? But the last, like we said, Jay, the last couple of games, he's starting to build up his confidence, and I think that again today, he's solid defensively going forward. He was maybe trying to whip it in a bit too early sometimes, where there's not enough people in the box to warrant a whip in. Maybe just recycle possession, go back to the left back or whatever, or just switch play. But that comes with time, that comes with experience, doesn't it?
It does, mate. And we look at Trent, and Trent used to do the exact same thing.
Yeah.
People pretend that they don't remember that, but that's the way Trent was. He used to do that as well, because he was like, "Oh my God, I'm playing football. I want to do everything I can in the space of 60 seconds to do as much as I can in a minute a game of football." So he'll come good, and he'll still do what we expected to do. And I think, the whole, this is for a completely different conversation when Trent, moves to midfield, which is what he's always wanted to do. That's for a different conversation. But with Trent going off and Necker Williams coming on, I didn't feel like, oh, for fuck's sake. I
No,
was like,
no,
sound, Williams is coming back on.
No,
and that's what you want,
it was
isn't
a
it?
comfortable, but yeah, exactly.
And to be fair, the game
I
went.
agree.
It was okay.
Yeah.
Exactly, yeah.
It went okay.
It was a comfortable substitution.
Yeah, it was.
I know.
It was comfortable substitution.
Yeah.
As well.
Yeah, and like Alex said there, like Neco coming on brought energy again. I think Trent did look, I don't know if it's just lack of match practice, which it probably is because he's only just coming back from injury, isn't he? But Neco's always got that. He's got that willingness to run forward, and he's not as gifted on the ball maybe as Trent, but really, if you look through the league, who is? But like as a backup option, he's a good option, isn't he?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
But anyway, let's should we look forward to Spurs a little bit? Obviously, we don't know what the extent of the Matip injury. I think Carragher said it was a back injury, or one of the commentators said it was a back injury. So if he's out, I'll see you in a bit, everyone.
Right, let's just go for a toilet break.
I've only got one kidney.
Yeah, I've only got one kidney.
Good experience.
Go on, Mick.
No, I was just going to say, like, what are we on Sunday? So it's looking a bit grim for Wednesday, like 3 days time for Matip. If it's a back injury, there's no way he's going to be in that one, really, is there?
No, I think you're looking at a Nat Phillips coming in, don't you?
I would, yeah. I mean, you've got, Nat Phillips coming in, you've got Reece Williams coming in. I mean, they've both done well when they've come in. There's good replacements in that sense, but from an experience point of view, no. But from a potential point of view, you've got good backup. Nat Phillips has come in, he's done tremendous. Reece Williams has come in, he's done well. I mean, that personally, for me, I'd play Reece Williams. I really would. I like the guy. I think he's quick. He's a tall lad. He's very dominant in the air. And for me, it's a sort of nice, solid little back four there that you've got. You can have your Trent. You can have Reece. It's a good back four that you can have. And against Spurs, you need that. You do need that. And it's a massive. That's more of an important game now on Wednesday.
See, I'm on the flip side there. I'd go with Phillips.
I'd go Phillips as well.
Just because with Reece Williams having more Champions League experience and Phillips has had more Premier League experience.
Yeah,
and Phillips is the bigger centre half to what you're
saying.
No,
either one. Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. If he played Reece Williams, I wouldn't be disappointed.
No.
I wouldn't be disappointed with Reece Williams or Nat Phillips.
No, same with Phillips. Yeah,
but if you're going to make me choose, I'd go with Nat Phillips. And like Alex has just said there,
I was just going to say that exact thing what Alex has just said. Only because if it was anyone but Harry Kane, I wouldn't want to. I don't think it'd be fair on Williams. I know what you say, Mark, in terms of how good he is, and he can be great in the future. But I think Phillips has got that raw tenacity, like just to deal with a Harry Kane and just like kick him, if kick him in the back, or he's torn to deal with the aerial threat, isn't he?
Yeah. I agree. Yeah, I'll agree to that point.
Absolutely. I think listen. The fucking situation where we're beggars can't be choosers.
No, come on.
I'll tell you. Anyway, Mick, if Klopp rings you, fucking go.
Yeah. I'll go and goal if we need. I don't care. Just give us a game.
If that happens, I'll get Moran 99 on the back of my shirt.
Right, gents. I think we're pretty much at the end there, because if we carry on dissecting that, I might start crying. So I don't want to do that live on air. So nice one to Alex for jumping in. Obviously, boss comment as usual. Same for Dan. Appreciate it, mate. Another one from Meg there. Onwards and upwards. Appreciate that. Appreciate the positivity, because that's the reason.
Marcus will get pissed off if you don't mention Marcus. You know what I mean?
Got to mention Marcus.
Shit, I didn't. Sorry, Marcus, mate. I missed you. There he is. There he is.
That's a good question. I think that
tonight
really has answered that question, as it were. We do actually need a centre back in January. I was actually thinking that that question might have quieted down a little bit, where we might not need a centre half, because I think we were coping. But I think the dominant presence, we might actually need a centre half now in January.
Does that mean it's an experienced centre half?
You're not going to get an experienced centre half, though, are you, really? Because he's going to want to play third or fourth choice.
Like we just said, we've got Phillips and we've got Williams. Do we actually need to buy someone?
Mick, what do you think?
Do we need to buy someone, Mick? Or
it's difficult because Fabinho has gone in there and has been absolutely unbelievably good, and he's kept us where we are. Like, we're still joint top, and we're through to the next stage Champions League, pretty much because he's adapted so well to that position. Well, 80% of it is because of how good he's done, I believe, anyway. So it's difficult, isn't it? Because there's not that. You're going to have to pay over the odds, or you try and struggle on through to the summer, and then you make a big marquee signing like we did last summer. So I can't see us going mad in January like I want us to, but it's going to be difficult to source someone.
I don't think we need to, Mick, to be honest. I mean, a lot of people are saying we need to go mad in January and get a big name signing, but we don't, because we know what we've got to come back. We've got Gomez to come back, we've got Van Dijk to come back. And at the end of the day, we're joint top of the league, and we've got a massive game on Wednesday, and we can be top of the league on Thursday morning, 3 points clear. So
exactly,
there's no panic really.
Good point. You gotta take it with you. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, just don't go on Twitter, and you'll get depressed. Alex, we'll have this last comment before we go. I wouldn't actually buy a centre back in January because of the money, and when Gomez and Van Dijk come back, who wants to be third? Fourth choice, maybe further down with Reece Williams.
That's a good point, mate. That is a good point. That is a good point, because, like you said, if you're buying a centre half in January, you're just buying for panic buying, aren't you? Of course, and we don't forget that we've got Van Dijk and we've got Gomez coming back. So we have coped, and let's face it, this let us down today and made mistakes that led to the Fulham goal. It was the lack of impetus going forward and how lazy we sort of seem. So I don't think that the buying a centre half is a massive thing we need to invest in. We're not going to find a centre back who's going to be world class or professional, whatever the FIFA kids call it. Where you're going to get, he's going to be fourth choice, are you?
No, not at all.
So you sort of
there's no panic.
No, is there any panic from you, Michael?
There's no panic from me. I think, like you said, we have that much of the possession usually, that as long as, like, the fact that we've had Phillips in there and Reece Williams in there, like kids that haven't played for us since forever in the whole career, that they're coming in and doing a job. The fact that they're still being able to do that job is testament to the rest of the team, because they're able to go in there and just not be too under pressure. And the fact, like, that we had Alisson back today, that was absolutely huge. Like, the amount of saves he made there, he makes everyone. It's a calming presence, the same as Van Dijk. So even if we don't sign anyone, it's still not doom and gloom, because we can still get through this season. And obviously, once we start getting other people back in, we should be all right.
At the end of the day, Mick, I mean, we can outscore any team in Europe. We know we're good at that. Well, in the world, to be honest with you. Right. That front three, I know it's stopped tonight, but I mean, that front three, I mean, we're all confident that we can outscore any team. So that's why I personally think that there's no need to panic buy, because we know we can outscore anybody. So we don't need to do that. We've got good backup, so we don't need to panic buy. I don't think there's any worry, to be honest with you.
Well, let's see what happens. Let's see what happens after Wednesday night.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, we done a pod because Gomez got injured, so we might have to do another one, and just, like, if Matip's out for a while, and just do a little therapy session. So look forward to that if Matip's out for a couple of weeks, because we'll throw that up. So nice one to Jay as usual, nice one to Mark and to Mike and to me for not crying live on air, and we'll see you in a bit.
Yeah.